Hey YouTube, thanks for stopping by Big Bear Homestead. And today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about trapping. We're going to go over the basic tools and things that you need, and then we'll have follow-up videos on dyeing, waxing, and setting each individual trap. Now I'm not going to go over each individual trap here this morning. We'll cover that when we're setting them. But I just want to give you the overlay of different tools and things that you may need, and some things to help you out, whether you're an advanced trapper that you may have forgotten or somebody just starting out. First thing I want to introduce you to is two books. These are almost like the trapping Bibles. You have Stanley Hall Baker's Trapping North American Fur Bearers. This is considered by some the trapping Bible. It's a very good book. It talks a little bit about the biology of each individual fur bearer that's in North America. It gives some of Stanley Hall Baker's tips on different sets and things that he uses. It's a very good book for the beginner or the advanced. The other one is the North America's Trappers Association little handbook that they come out with. It's a very good book. It covers everything from how to deal with people who are against trapping to different recipes, and it also has a small bio on every fur bearer and different set techniques and things like that. Two very good books. Now, someone who's just getting started in trapping, they might be like, hey, well, what do I need? Well, of course you need traps. And there are basic 3-4 different types of traps. You have your foothold trap, which I have an old beat up foothold right here. This one's not ready to go out, but this is your standard foothold trap. This is a Victor 1.75 offset, so that way the jaws don't touch. It's laminated for extra support, and it has a base plate across the bottom for extra support on the trap too, for when you're trapping the big canines, they can't just keep snatching and end up breaking the trap. So that's one style, the elusive foothold that everybody wants to protest against. Then you have your conibears. These are a lethal trap. They're body gripping traps, whatever you want to call them. These guys, this is the 220 size. They have a 110, a 180, and a 330. This is the 220, and over here, this big guy, this is your 330. This is used mostly for your water fur bearers, mostly for beaver and otter. This is a very strong trap, very powerful trap. You have to be extremely careful when you're setting this trap, because this trap can hurt you. When setting the 330, some guys use a rope with a big old knot at the end. Some of your big burlier trappers will just grab the spring with two hands and squeeze it. For the guys just getting started out, you have your setting tongs. Now what you do with these is you can hook them. Let me see if I can get it where you can get a better shot. You have your trap out. Like such. And then you just take your tongs and you hook it in each eyelid of the trap and then squeeze. We'll go over this in more detail when we start talking about setting the 330. But these are your what they call your setting tongs. 330. Conibear. 220. Conibear. Body gripping, lethal traps. Here in a second we'll show you the 110 and all the other ones, but I have them outside hanging because they've all got dyed. Setting tongs. Now this is a multi-purpose 3-in-1 tool. This is a must-have for any trapper. You have kind of like a mat axe on one end, a hammer on the other, and then you have a digger to hand dig a dirt hole set. Now you can get a cordless drill with a little auger and zip, zip, zip. So a lot of us guys who are getting old, we tend to do, but for the young guys, y'all still got enough energy to jam this in there and make your dirt hole. It makes really good dirt holes, and it's not much to carry when you're going into the woods. It's got some weight to it because it does have a hammer end, but you got to give and take. A sifter. Sifter is a must need. I really don't like this one. I'm gonna have to get me a new one. I even have a hard time getting sand to come through this one. But the basis of the sifter, and we'll cover this more when we're trapping our land critters, is you just take it and you sift dirt back over your trap. Lure. Lure and bait. In trapping, the general rule is usually the stinkier the better. Each critter has its own unique things that it's interested in, so you can't have a one lure for catch-all. So it really, their lure are kind of critter specific. I got a whole bunch of coon ones up here, and I got a coyote fox bait right here. And they stink, and they're kind of ugly when you look at them. But they get the job done. Basically what you're looking for, you're not looking to give the critter a feast when he's sitting there at your trap. You just want something, you just want something that's going to catch his attention. And that's what they do. Now, let's move on down the table. Snare. I'm not a big fan of snares. In a survival situation, a snare is the absolute best one to have because you can carry 900 of these compared to the weight of one of these. So, for all the preppers out there, this is your baby right here. But the guy that's going out there in the time being, not wandering too close to home, looking to just get a fur check or whatever, I don't recommend the snare. In Georgia, where I am, the snare has to be either in the water or within 10 feet of water. They want you using it just for your water fur bearers only. I tend to stay away from the snare because it can rip the fur when they're fighting. And a beaver can chew through it. But we'll cover more on that in the beaver trap. This is a stake. Drive it down into the ground. This goes along with the foothold. You got to have some type of an anchor when you're dealing with your footholds, and we'll cover that more later on. This is called a tunnel trap. Some guys use it for squirrels. You can use it for muskrats, mink. The object of this trap kind of acts like a mouse trap. He crawls through here, steps on a pan, blammo, dead fur bear. Underneath me, you'll see I have some cages. I have a squirrel cage for your smaller critters and a bigger cage for your bigger critters. Now this style right here, this is mostly for the guys doing nuisance wildlife work, but you fur bearer guys can go after them too during trapping season. You can stick this over the hole, over his den. He won't think nothing of it. He'll just hit this. It'll come out, close behind him, and then you got another cage attached to it up here. Blammo, got critter. Works very well, especially on the sides of buildings and stuff like that. Got one for the smaller one too. Now, with trap handling, a good pair of gloves, leather gloves, leather work gloves. You pick up at Wally World, Trader Supply, Kmart, any place like that. Shoot, I even think I seen some in the gas station. You can pick them up at your local feed and seed. A good pair of cowhide leather gloves, because once you dip your traps, you don't ever want to touch them with your bare hands again. You always want to have gloved hands. So that's why you need the gloves. It helps protect your traps from your stink, because we stink. Animals don't like our smell. So, this is the logwood trap dye. You need this to dye your traps. The directions come on the front. I follow them pretty much to the T, and I don't have any problems. It's kind of idiot proof. There are some guys out there that try to tweak it and it works for them, but I just follow directions and it works for me. After you dye your traps, you let them hang, let them dry, and then you get yourself some trapper's wax or beeswax. You can use beeswax. We're going to start slowly moving to beeswax as we start to collect more wax from our hives. And you just follow the directions that are on here. You just boil this down till it becomes a liquid. Dip your traps in for 15 to 30 seconds. Pull them out and let them hang. Now, when you're going into the woods, you're going to need a way to carry your stuff. The elusive trapping basket has evaded me underneath the Christmas tree for 7 or 8 years now. I haven't gotten it for my birthday, Father's Day, anniversary, Christmas. For some reason, it just never seems to show up. Even though it's always been, honey, what do you want? I'll show her like a trapping basket. Oh, okay. Never shows up. So maybe logging around on YouTube, maybe it'll show up soon. But I had to carry around a 5-gallon bucket with a bucket pal on it. That makes it kind of hard when you're going through the woods, but we do what we do. And you can put all your lures and stuff like that in there. It's always good to keep a screwdriver and a multi-tool, which mine is missing. I bet it's in my son's room. But a way to tote your stuff. You can put your lures in here. You can put your pan covers in here, which I didn't cover. These are pan covers. Right here. It literally, when you set in your trap, and we'll go over this more when we're doing our coyote and fox trapping. Cover your pan. Dirt can't get underneath the pan. We'll go into better detail later. But this is the pan cover. And more lures, long distance call. But we'll go over all of that stuff in more detail when we get to those parts in our trapping. Well, YouTube, that's a quick, basic. This is what you need, how elaborate you can get. For the guy just starting out, go get you half a dozen little number ones. Get them dyed, get them waxed, and go after the coon. Go after the old raccoon. You'll have some fun. It'll be like Christmas every day when you go out there. Get your books, study up on setting the raccoon sets, and go after it. That's going to be the first video we're going to do is raccoon. And have a good time with it. Now when you get better at it, then take a kid with you. Get the kids off the street and out from in front of those video games and get them out there in the woods and let them learn a life lesson. But here's the most important thing. Trapping always has somebody trying to talk bad about it. Always trying to get it banned. We got to get rid of the foothold. We got to get rid of the conibear. And what people don't understand is, I don't know about you, but when was the last time you seen Ricky Raccoon in the Walmart buying a contraceptive? They don't practice birth control. We don't do something to help keep it in check, then we're going to be overrun and diseases, rabies, all that kind of stuff is going to go rampant. We need to be able to trap, hunt, and fish. And every day in Congress, these rights are being challenged. Just like right now, you've got the whole gun ban battle going on. We as sportsmen, we as Americans, we need to make sure we practice ethical trapping, ethical hunting, and responsibility when it comes to gun ownership. Period. We do that, then they've got nothing to say. Don't go out there being irresponsible and going after just the thrill of the kill. It's not what it's about. Well, you'll see in later videos how we'll use the fur. We'll use the organs. We'll use the meat. We'll use the bones. And we'll clean the skull and be able to make an income out of that. We'll use of these fur bearers we can eat, and we do. So, let me get off my soapbox now. This is the basics that we need, and this is the new trapping series that we're going to start here on YouTube. Hope you come back for the rest. Be looking for the next one to come out, which is going to be dyeing and waxing your traps. Thanks for stopping by the Big Bear Homestead, and hope to see you again real soon. Thanks.